Hi, it's Susan. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm just giving you a peek at my current color palette. And I say current because I really believe that palettes evolve over time with our work and ourselves. At least it does for me. Perhaps one day I'll arrive at a point where I know all the colors I love using and then it won't change. But for now, it's still evolving and I'm switching colors out and I'm testing new ones, and this is what I have for 2021, and I thought in this video I would just share it with you along with a few thoughts that I have. So this is not a tutorial video. I'm not sharing with you how to pick these colors, but I will show you how I arrange them and a few thoughts that I have that you might not be able to visually see when you're watching a video like this. So the technical aspects of this palette, first of all, there are 18 colors, and the way that I chose to arrange it is in rainbow format, if that makes sense. So it's reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues, purples, and neutrals. So I need to go into a little bit of detail for you here, because if you look at the list of colors that I provided in this description below this video, there are actually no oranges and no purples in my color palette, but it still goes in the rainbow order. So I'm going to break down especially the reds and oranges section for you because it's a little bit different the way that I chose to put in the colors, but it makes sense to me, and maybe if I explain it, it'll make sense to you too. But I start with pinks. So I have a Potter's Pink, which is a light pink, and then I have a Quinacridone Rose, which is more like a magenta. Then it moves into a classic red, which is a Pyrrol Crimson, and then a warm red, which is Pyrrol Scarlet. And then because I don't have oranges, well, I placed my earth orange, which is a burnt sienna. It's like an earthy orange color. Some people think of it as brown, but I really look at it as more of an orangey color. So I put that in place of where my oranges would go. I don't have an orange because oranges are so easy to mix. Next to the burnt sienna, I have a sienna. So it's a Monte Amiata natural sienna is the color. But because a sienna is like an earthy yellow, I placed the earthy yellow next to the earthy orange before I moved into the yellow section. And in my yellow section, I have a creamy peach color, which is Naples Yellow. And because that's not a standard yellow, I just put that next to the earth yellow. And then I went into the traditional yellows. So it's a Hansa yellow medium and then a yellow light. I tend to put the lighter yellow, like a lemon yellow type of color, next to my greens. I don't know why, but I just feel like it makes more sense to me because it's a cooler yellow and it's moving towards transitioning towards green. And it just has always made more sense to me like that. So that's how I do it. So then I have a few greens and then I have quite a few blues. I have 4 blues in this palette. And then it moves into my neutrals, which are a gray and a creamy white color called Buff Titanium. So I really like how this arrangement worked out this time. I used to not arrange my colors this way. I used to start with yellows and then end at the magentas and then plop in the neutrals, which made less sense. So I really like this better. You know, maybe it doesn't work for you and there's no right way to do these palette arrangements or colors, but I find that seeing how other people do it is helpful for me. So hopefully this is helpful for you too. So after I put together a palette, I typically make a tiny little swatch card like this so that I can remember what colors were in it, what they look like when they're swatched out so I can reference it when I'm painting. And I'm finding now that they're a nice little piece of documentation to see how my palette color choices evolve over time. So I will date the back of it so that I have this little record of my color choices. So I also mentioned earlier in the video I would share a few things that aren't immediately visible. And this one is visible, but you may or may not have noticed it. And that is I didn't fill my palette wells all the way to the maximum capacity. So I purposely filled these maybe 1/3 of the way that I could have because I don't want to or cannot commit to filling the wells the whole way. I'm sharing this because I hope that it gives you permission to also not fill your wells up to the maximum capacity. And I just want to point that out because I think most of the videos that we see are people filling it all the way full. And that's wonderful if you can commit to the color and you know that this color is one that is going to be in your palette and will remain there. But for me, I think I'm still discovering what my colors are, if there is a very set of colors. And if I want to reset my palette again, then I don't want to be wasting paint, which is why I am only filling it a little bit. So I just wanted to share that. And another thing I wanted to share is that as I'm doing this palette, I already have at least one color where I'm pretty sure I might be switching it out. And that one for me is Potter's Pink. So even though I have this palette and I'm putting colors in, it doesn't mean that I know that these are my colors. Sometimes I'm still playing around with them. And I just wanted to share that too, because I think it's really easy to look at what people are doing and assume that they know exactly that these are their colors and that's all they work with. But the reality is for me at least, I'm still figuring it out, and I'm allowing my palette to evolve with me as I continue practicing with watercolors. I hope this video was helpful, especially if you're just developing your own watercolor palette. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.